wonderful Vivian. She is the go-to person for all things midterm, monthly rentals, corporate housing, whatever you want to call it. She has an amazing story about how she got into the industry and how she got started in real estate. Before she comes on, we're going to let the wonderful Mr. Alfredo speak. He's the one allowing us to use this beautiful space. He's going to talk all about Lindfriend, and then we'll toss it over to Vivian.
Alright, cool. So, hi guys, my name is Alfredo Yanis. I am the sales manager here at Lendfriend. We're excited to have you guys here. As you can see, we have plenty of space. We're more than happy to share. Right? I'm personally excited to learn more about what you guys do. It's a personal interest to me. I actually have some friends over here, so it's nice to see you guys. A little bit of background about myself. I've been a loan officer since 2020. I've been personally responsible for roughly 140, 150 transactions since then. So I've seen almost every scenario you can imagine, and I have almost every product under the sun. So if there's a home at some point in the process, be it bank statement, DSCR, I did a 1099 loan, a profit and loss statement loan. Any way you want to get creative, I'm more than happy to play ball, and of course I do conventional, FHA, VA, all that good stuff. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to use me as a resource. I truly believe I'm not in the business of selling loans, I'm in the business of helping people, right? So a couple things that set Lendfriend apart. If you're in a competitive situation, I can close your loan in as little as 10 business days. So that's pretty much as good as cash, right? I can get your appraisal done in 5 business days, guaranteed, anywhere in Austin, Dallas, or Houston. We have our client retention program. So after you do one transaction with us, you will never face lender fees ever again for the rest of your life, be it purchase or refinance. Investors tend to love us because they save a good chunk of change with that. But other than that, you can expect a human touch from us. Yes, a lot of our processes are automated because you don't take advantage of the technology you're losing nowadays, right? But you can expect to speak with a human who is here to invest in you and your unique situation. Not everyone's the same or fits in the same box. You gotta be creative, right? It's our job to interpret the rules and make sure that you fit in so that we can close your loan. You guys wanna get the homes, we wanna give you the loans, our interests are aligned. So let's help each other out. I can leave my personal cell phone anywhere you guys see fit. You can reach me on social media, phone, text message, email. I'm always available and truly happy to help. So thank you all for being here, and I'm excited to learn more.
Thank you, Alfredo. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here this evening. I'm so excited to tell you my story and present to you as well. But first off, I'm so curious. Raise your hand if you're wondering about my hair or lack thereof. Don't be shy. If you're curious, please put your hand up. Okay. I promise I will tell you, but you have to listen to my presentation first. It's at the very end. So let's get started. This thing would work. I found a new tool today on Canva. Come on. Oh my gosh. We'll do the old-fashioned way. Okay. All right, so my name is Vivian Yip. I have a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Toronto, and I also have my master's degree from the University of Liverpool. I grew up in Canada. I'm originally from Vancouver, Toronto, and Calgary, as well as a 5-year stint in Hong Kong. Part of my time was spent there as a teenager. And I've traveled to more than 30 countries. I speak 3 languages. I'm considering myself a serious foodie. I have a husband and 2 kids and 2 dogs. I spent 20 years of my career in supply chain and operations, with the last 7 years at Apple. I was in the AMR ops team, and my last role was launching the iPhone 12 during a pandemic. During my time at Apple, I had a great career there. I won 2 national awards there, both for continuous innovation. One of them continues to save the company millions of dollars. And when I got my bonus check, I was like, oh, this is so deflating. So, it had me thinking more about real estate. The second award I won was for an obsolete stock program. That was a team project. And then in 2018, I started thinking about what life would look like if I didn't have to be in corporate anymore. So I started looking into real estate and found a great mentor. And in 2018, my husband and I flipped our first house. And along the way, I think in our first year, we flipped 6 houses, and to date, we flipped 25. And then in 2021, I quit my job at Apple. I was 2 years ahead of my planned schedule, and I'm very proud and excited about that. And today, I spend my time as a full-time real estate investor, and I also am very passionate about empowering women to learn more about real estate, to live a financially free and balanced life. So I'm the co-leader of InvestHer, which is a global women's real estate investing group here, and we have a few members here tonight. And we have over 1,000 women in our group. We're just for education and networking, and we have 59 meetups all over the world. So if y'all like YouTube, we documented our flips. So we have a little YouTube channel, self-produced, and we, basically kept what we could afford, and we threw furniture in it. Today our portfolio consists of 2 long-term rentals, 1 short-term rental, 6 midterm rentals, and I have a few more under management. So when I was 17, I was working in Hong Kong as an intern at a hotel, and that's when I fell in love with hospitality. And I can't afford a hotel, but I realized I could afford a house that I could turn into an Airbnb. So in 2019, I picked up this distressed property in Chisholm Valley. Do you guys know what that is? 78681.
Yeah.
I picked it up for $185 and $185 and I renovated it by myself with a little bit of help from my husband, and I turned it into a short-term rental. My first booking was about July of 2019, and it did really well. And then everyone knows what happened in March of 2020. So Airbnb started canceling all these reservations, and I was terrified because at the end of the day, I have a mortgage to pay. So I thought, gosh, let's just try and finish up the reservations. And I snoozed my listing. I put it on Furnish Finder and the MLS, and ding, I got a booking from a family that was building a house in Liberty Hill. They needed a 3-month stay. And then right after that, I got a booking for 7 months for a construction crew that was working in Pflugerville in Hutto. And I thought, this is so easy, and I'm still cash flowing. This is kind of cool. So in May of 2021, I quit my job, but I had to sell this house. So I let go of this property, and yeah. So short-term rentals. Let's take a look at the landscape today. According to InsideAirbnb.com, there's almost 14,000 Airbnb listings in Austin. That's a lot. And this number has actually come down by almost 5,000 units since November. 87% of these operate as short-term rentals, and 12% of them run as 30-day stays. When I went to the Bigger Pockets conference last September, they indicated that 25% of bookings are coming in as midterm stays. That's huge. Why not try and capture that? So, with all those short-term rentals in Austin, we know that there's only about 2,000 permits. So, how many are operating illegally? And if you stay in touch with the news, in December, the news specified that the city of Austin was really going to crack down on permits or unlicensed properties. So, I think they said that there's going to be some kind of ordinance that will be submitted in March to really crack down on them. So what do you think is going to happen to all those short-term rentals that are operating illegally?
Wiped away. Sold.
If I could see around corners, I'm going to guess that short-term rentals will move into the midterm space, because short-term rentals are highly saturated. If you're on all the Facebook groups, you'll hear people, even on South Congress, are complaining about not getting bookings. And midterm rentals, if you're not familiar, 30-day stays, they're more profitable than long-term rentals. And after all, these short-term rental operators have already invested in the furniture and the design and all that kind of stuff. So the next reasonable option would be to move into MTRs. But the question is, will midterm rentals then become saturated? So, how do you cash flow in a non-cash flowing market, in a market that has illegal, that's not issuing permits for short-term rentals? And the answer is midterm rentals. Anybody here operating midterm rentals already? Oh, good. I love that. So midterm rentals have advantages. We typically get a higher quality clientele. The turnover is much, much lower than a short-term rental. I'm finding myself off my phone a lot more. I'm not communicating with the guests as much, not having to worry about toilet paper and paper towels and stuff like that. I have a much higher occupancy. There's no additional short-term rental insurance needed. I know a lot of people that have short-term rentals have proper insurance. When I talked to my insurance broker about any additional or special conditions I need for midterm stays, they said anything that's greater than 30 days behaves like a long-term rental. And so the one thing you do want to consider is having your renter get renter's insurance, which is like $10 a month. And then you also get a lot of flexibility and control. The disadvantages is that you can run into some tenancy issues. Luckily for me, in the last 3 years, I've not had any issues. You will also expect lower revenues than a short-term rental, but maybe considering the saturated market we have right now, it might actually be better. And also, midterm rentals are expensive to furnish, maybe even a little bit more expensive, depending on how much you spend on the bedding or the kitchen stuff. So I'm gonna give you a little case study here. This is a property I purchased in 2021. I was driving down a road as I was renovating one of my properties, and I saw this little black and orange sign that said for sale by owner. And I screeched and stopped my car, took down the phone number, told my husband to call him because I was on my way to a meeting and I couldn't stop. So he called, and within 15 minutes, he was inside this townhouse. It's at 183 in Spicewood Springs Road. Paid $200,000 for it.
Wow.
In 2021.
Jeez.
Okay? Threw $80,000 into it and got it refinanced at $405,000 as the new value. So the bank actually gave me $24,000 or something like that, tax-free. I love this story. And at that time I started thinking, like, what am I gonna do with it? I could do a long-term rental, or I could do a furnished rental. I knew that a furnished midterm rental works in Round Rock. How could it not work in the city of Austin? So I threw it up for $3,800 a month. And my first booking was in September of 2021, and I've had it rented consistently ever since. Actually, I'm lying, it's empty right now for the last week. But you know, with the mortgage, insurance, and property taxes, and utilities, I get to cash flow about $1,400 a month. That's not bad. That's way better than a long-term rental, and I'm not gonna get hunted down by the city of Austin. To me, that's priceless. So, what do you think happens next? You repeat. So today, I have 6 midterm rentals, and in total, I would say my occupancy is in the lower mid 90%, about 92, 93%, and my net profit per month cash flow is about $11,200. It's not bad. I think it's a pretty good way to quit my job and own my own time. I'm not making as much as I did at Apple, but I'm also not under someone else's ownership and time. So a question I get a lot is, what is the difference between a midterm rental and a short-term rental? And in my opinion, these are some of the essentials. You need to have really great beds because people are no longer committing to a weekend, right? They want to stay for a longer period of time, and you want to make sure that it's comfortable, it's clean, it's not lumpy, it's not aged. You want to have a dedicated workspace. We host digital nomads and parents that work from home. So that's pretty important. Ultra high-speed internet. I have my properties at almost 500 megabytes per second. Dressers are really important because people are no longer living out of their suitcase. Fully equipped kitchens, including blenders and air fryers and cookie sheets. I even had a guest that brought their own KitchenAid mixer. And I thought, oh gosh, does that mean I have to buy one too? So far I haven't gone that far. but it's something to consider if you want to have that really great hospitality experience. Easy parking and free parking is very important. Of course, a washer and dryer, and I'm going to give you a secret sauce tonight. Be pet friendly. Pet friendly is important because when you house insurance requests, 80% of those people that are displaced have pets, and only 20% of midterm rental operators allow them. So that's your secret sauce tonight. So I thought, I put so much thought and effort into my properties, and I want to differentiate my properties from everybody else there because there's a sea of 1,700 midterm rentals out there. How do I differentiate myself? And that's what I thought about creating my own brand, which is Hestia. Anyone know what Hestia means? Anyone into Greek mythology? Yes, Blake.
The goddess of hospitality.
The Greek goddess of hospitality, hearth, and home. So when I was a kid, I really liked, all the Greek goddesses, Aphrodite and Minerva and all that stuff. And I just kind of resonated with me. So I really like the name Hestia. Some people have trouble pronouncing it, unfortunately. And the logo, I thought, it kind of reminds me of a goddess, but the lotus is also a little bit Asian. So that's the kind of thought behind it. And it's really modern and pretty, and I just thought, well, the Hestia brand can now represent all these things that my properties are, which has free parking, stylish interiors, ultra clean and maintained spaces, fully equipped kitchens, dedicated workspaces, ultra high-speed internet, luxury sleep experience, and of course, exceptional hospitality. So you're probably wondering, how do I get my places booked? And I can't tell you because it doesn't look right. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, well, long story short. It's so strange how that worked out. There's different ways you can get your properties booked. I know a lot of people here are Furnish Finder members. You pay $99 plus maybe another $80 to get a verified owner badge. And then you say, I'm not getting any bookings. The reason why is because that is a website dedicated to medical professionals that typically don't have a budget greater than $1,800 a month. In fact, most of them have a budget of between $1,400 to $1,600. But if you're a real estate investor, your property needs at least 2, 3, maybe even 4,000 to break even. So that platform does not meet your avatar. The second thing is from Airbnb. I probably get 50% of my bookings from Airbnb. And man, Airbnb is expensive. They charge 3% to the host, and then 14.2% at minimum to the guest. And sometimes that goes up to 16%, but I'm not really sure how they calculate that, to be honest. And the other problem is most short-term rentals on Airbnb have lots of holes in the calendar. So you have your weekends booked, but your weekdays are open. So how does someone looking for an extended stay find something easily? It's not easy. I would say my strength is networking, and because I have these short-term rentals and midterm rentals, I've been investing in the real estate space for the last 5 years. I get calls all the time from realtors asking if I have a space available. So I'm really well networked, and that's what really has contributed to the success of my midterm rentals. And I'm really, really grateful for that. So let's take a look at the guest fee really quickly here. On a $119 booking for 33 nights, this is a less expensive property, the guest paid $434 in fees, just for the guest service fee. And the host paid $122. On the right side is a more expensive property, I think it was like $130 something a night, and the guest paid almost $953 just in fees, and the host paid $269. Pretty expensive. What would you do if you had that money in your pocket and you were paying those guest fees? I would buy a nice dinner. So then I started thinking, well, how can I help others? Is there a way for me to leverage my network and the people that I know and the people that know what I do? Stay in this, explore this business. Oh, one more thing, landing. Has anyone heard of landing? They're a midterm rental operator. They're also a midterm rental brand, but I would say 99% of their properties are apartments. I don't know about you, but I'm not an apartment person. I have nothing against apartments, but it's just the lifestyle that I've always lived. I have, 2 kids and 2 dogs. I like to wake up, get my coffee, let my dogs out outside. Especially when it's cold, I don't want to put on my jacket, get an umbrella if it's raining. It's not for me. So I found a hole and decided to fill it. So the vision is to create one place to easily find beautiful corporate rentals, be easy to do business with, use my network and relationship marketing to drive website traffic to top of mind, strategic partnerships with HR departments, relocation companies, insurance firms, remodeling companies, etc., and organically become the top Google search. The mission is to be the #1 location for corporate rental searches in Austin, Texas, and be a recognized brand representing quality midterm rentals. If we look at brand positioning, there's really nothing out there like Hestia. Because you have your short-term rental operators like Wanderjaunt, Vacasa, Evolve. They're operating in that top right quadrant with high prices in short-term rental space. Then you have Furnish Finder that's operating in midterm rentals, but they're in the medium lower price range. Then you have Landing, which is, medium price like Hestia is, but Landing's operating with apartments where Hestia is whole homes. Are we missing opportunities by not having a dedicated website? If you look at this is published from the Austin Chamber of Commerce, which Corporate Rentals Austin is a member of. On January 24th, they published this and said that Austin added 51,000 jobs in 2022, with a growth of 4.2%. And the last bullet point is the seasonally adjusted unemployment rate is 2.9% as of December, unchanged from November. That's 1% lower than the national average. So Austin is still hot. Despite what we see in the real estate market, people are just hanging out right now. It's still a very strong market. I'm very, very bullish. We're having a soft landing. So whole home rentals, who do we service? We service corporate relocations, insurance contracts, construction teams, film crews, digital nomads, remodels, and new builds. You may have heard this term before, but the riches are in the niches. So, presenting the website, corporaterentalsaustin.com and the value proposition. It's a hyper local website dedicated to hand-picked properties representing the Hestia brand. So if you have a property that fulfills all those things that I have in my midterm rentals, you could also become a Hestia property and publish yourselves on Corporate Rentals Austin. In less than 6 months, if you do corporate rentals in Austin, we're already on the first page of searches. So my philosophy of search engine optimization worked. As a member, because we are a membership program, I'm currently curating a rental agreement with an eviction attorney. So you will get a copy of this rental agreement by Kyle White. He is with kickaboutquick.com. So I thought the best way to protect yourself from tenancy issues is to work backwards from the eviction process and go forward from there, right? So every member gets this rental agreement. You get to be on one website to book directly with established Airbnb hosts, where guests can save money as well as hosts. And the hosts, therefore, can get these direct bookings and gain 100% control of your own listing. So that way you handle all the money, the transactions, your cancellation policies. No one's gonna cancel on you if we get another pandemic. Hopefully we don't. We have a web scraper technology that updates your listings automatically. So you just send us your Airbnb link and we pull your pictures, your descriptions, your amenities. And we are a no saturation website. What that means is we're not like Airbnb, we're not like Furnish Finder where you just come and sign on and you're there. We're only accepting a certain number of properties per zip code. That way we're kind of spreading the love across the city. And we also have 2 VAs that work behind the scenes doing the marketing on your behalf. They're, going into your traditional places like Facebook Marketplace, and even Craigslist, and we'll try and match your Furnish Finder listings, we'll try and match your listings to Furnish Finder requests as well, so you can save that $99 and let us do the work. And when we do get those insurance housing requests and corporate relocations, you as a member will get first right of refusal. Let's look at the insurance claim process. There's a house fire. The family has now lost their home and they have a pet. They contact their insurance adjuster, the insurance adjuster contacts a relocation specialist, and now that relocation specialist is frantically looking for a place for that person, that family to live. Their typical first source is a hotel, but what I'm building in the background, and I have 2 meetings next week with some big companies, is to have them come to our website and find an established list of hospitality-driven properties and just book from there. Right? So much easier than just working with an individual when you can just go to the place with inventory, just like Airbnb. We all go to Airbnb because that's where the inventory is. This is the same idea, but we're dedicated to midterm rentals. And we're currently at 20 properties and continue to grow. Keep in mind, we're only 2 months old.
Great job.
Thank you. So you can get your property featured on our website, where we've curated all these beautiful properties with hospitality midterm hosts in Austin, and we're targeting a guest budget of $3,500 or more. Unlike Furnish Finder that has a lower budget, we're trying to target that higher quality, not higher quality, I'm sorry, that's the wrong word to say, higher budgeted traveler. So even though I'm saying we do greater than $3,500, I would say on average our properties are around the $45,000 to $5,000 range. I even have one that's $7,000. So what does that website look like? I spent a lot of time studying a bunch of websites to get to where we are today. So we hit the play button, and it's not playing. Is it playing? Nope. Okay.
Looks like he's trying to download, maybe.
Well, you can go to it on your own on your cell phone, but really what I wanted to showcase here was you search by zip code, because the people that come on our website is going to be looking for something close to home if they were displaced, or they're going to try and find something close to work. I'm working with the development team to do more of a enter your address and find something close to it, but we're not there yet. So we're going to continue to work on developing the navigation portion. But when you scroll through the website, you'll see all the photos of all the pretty properties. And when you click on the actual property, you'll see that we don't disclose the address, number one, because that's for security reasons. I don't want them to look at the calendar and be like, oh, this place is open. Let's go by and see what's happening. So we don't disclose the address, but we do disclose the zip code. And you'll see that we pulled all the pictures from your Airbnb listing. We pulled all your descriptions from your listing as well, and then all your amenities and check-in, check-out instructions. So what does our membership program look like? You apply for membership when you meet amenities, style, and service. So we'll look at your reviews in detail. You get listed, so our website scrapes your listing. Oh, we also take a copy of your calendar from both Airbnb and Vrbo. That way we have live visibility of what you have available and when. Which is really, really important to these relocation specialists, because they always have to go through Airbnb where there's holes in the calendar, if they go through Zillow and they don't have a live calendar there, or if they go through some other site. So it was really important for me to have visibility to what that calendar looks like.
Hey, Vivian?
Yes.
What is the website called?
CorporateRentalsAustin.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And you get to be part of our strategic partnership program. So I've already interviewed with several global relocation companies, and explain to them what the Hestia brand is about, and they love it. Unfortunately, with the relocations, unfortunately with the economy that it is right now, it's a little bit slow. But they said they'll give us a try a few times, and once they are pleased with the experience, they will add us into the supply chain, which I'm really excited about. Being on the website allows us to try and connect you with those Airbnb guests to come to you directly. And you get to stand out from other listings. I have a pillow here somewhere. Oh, it's over there. So you can buy a branding package. The branding package consists of private labeled organic shampoos. You have mugs, coasters, and pillows, and you can, strategically place them in your photos so that people can see you're part of this brand. And the pillow says, "Book, direct, and save," with the website on it. And then, of course, the big whammy here is that $1,600 rental agreement, which I'm really excited about. I just finalized that with the attorney earlier this week, and I'm waiting for the final copy for review. But, I want to emphasize that this rental agreement is not ironclad. Once you get into a short-term rental or even a midterm rental, you still are at risk of tenancy. But considering that this has been reviewed by an eviction attorney, and we're trying to work backwards from there, and I've been in this space for 3 years, I feel pretty good about this. So what are the prerequisites to be on the website? You have to be an Airbnb superhost. I really want to emphasize that hospitality and experience. You need to have an active Airbnb listing. So if you've been kicked off of Airbnb for any reason, I can't have you on there. You need to have your updated Airbnb iCal exported to us. We need a WhatsApp contact, especially important for any kind of global travelers. And we need a booking email address. And then finally, if you are already ahead of the game and you have a direct booking link, we can also attach that to your listing as well. And if you don't have one, I recommend Boostly. They're really great. Not only do they have a book, they're the leaders in book direct websites, but they also have the what they call the Boostly Academy. So when you buy their website, they have all these resources in the background on how to do book direct, whether it's social media or whatever it is. So you can feel free to scan the QR code to learn more, but I definitely recommend them, and the book is great. So, any questions so far?
So your site is not for someone like myself that does not own any short-term rentals.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Eventually.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you get there,
Yeah.
definitely. I'd love to have you. Any questions? Yes.
How's the payment processing working right now?
The payment process is owned by you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have to send invoice and all that stuff to the.
Correct. It's just like in Furnish Find or whatever, you're working directly with the guest. So you should have a rental agreement, you should have developed some processes and some terms that you've established on your own, what your cancellation policy might be. Mm-hmm. Yes?
We got a pretty good idea of what hospitality is for, super hospitality is for Airbnb short-term rentals. What's super hospitality for mid-term rentals? What is that?
I think it just means like being really responsive. For me, I have my husband as maintenance, and I also have a house manager. Like when you're doing a longer term stay, you're gonna run into the same kind of issues with a short-term rental. Maybe the water heater breaks, or the HVAC's not working, or maybe you have an appliance that's not functioning properly. Just having that really great responsiveness is important. And for me, that means that having a booklet of the people that I work with all the time available. Like I can call my HVAC guy or my plumber, and they'll be there within hours. And that's just having a team behind me.
But for the corporate guests or for these other guys, do they like something else above and beyond that? That's like almost concierge style?
Sometimes they would, I haven't had anyone request, but I've heard about it. Like when they arrive, maybe they've just taken a 16-hour flight from somewhere and they want a stocked kitchen. So there are concierge service out there that will do the grocery shopping for you so that when you arrive, you're home. You don't have to worry about doing that right away, especially if you're arriving at like, 1 o'clock in the morning, you have small kids that want breakfast in the morning, right? So things like that. Having a computer monitor is really great because that way they can work from home comfortably. And then ultra high-speed internet is really key because everybody's connected these days. I have a guest right now in one of my properties. They have 11 devices connected. And I only know this because we had to call Spectrum together the other day, and they're like, oh yeah, they have 11 devices connected. They're all functioning properly. I'm like, who has 11 devices? That's insane. So yeah, for those corporate travelers, you know, that internet is really, really a big deal. No one's curious how much it costs.
I was just about to ask.
How much does it cost?
How much does it cost? Well, I have a special tonight. $4.99. $4.99 is the normal price right now, and I have bigger plans for what's happening here. But tonight, with an expiration of tomorrow night, I'm offering 50% off. So you can scan the QR code if you're interested.
That annually?
That is annual price. Yeah, and that rental agreement I think is you know, is worth it. It's developed by an attorney. You get this whole document, and then you get to be listed on our website, and I will market on your behalf and use my network to help you get your place booked. Nobody wants to scan? Nobody? Nobody?
Close harder, close harder.
Close harder? I don't know. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a supply chain and operations person. I don't know how to close a sale. I just know about the scarcity rule. So there's only 2 of these available. There's only 2 of these available.
For the first 2 minutes.
For the first 2 minutes. But you know, I do it as a special that expires tomorrow night because I want to reward those that are go-getters, that want to make things happen. So, you know, this 50% off I think is a great deal. Especially for the amount of work that I'm putting into it. I'm really not making any money. I'm just losing money right now.
That's per month.
No, this is per year.
$249.50.
$249
to be part of that.
to be part of it.
That seems like a no-brainer.
I think it's a good deal. Right? Like, there's another competitor out there. Corporate housing. Who's heard of corporate housing by owner?
Oh yeah.
Okay, they're I think at minimum $500 a year. And they don't advertise any kind of network. They don't have VAs that market on your behalf. You know, I'm trying to introduce all that for you. So I'm trying to make it easy for you to run your midterm business, for us to drive business to you. So
When someone is getting interested in getting involved in this type of short-term rental and midterm rental stuff, and you're thinking about, like, do you go to Airbnb and they syndicate out to a lot of other sites, or do you have to, does that make sense? Am I asking a
could
question?
you rephrase?
Okay, so I don't know anything about it because I've never owned them. If I want to advertise on Airbnb my property, I pay them a fee.
No, Airbnb listing is free.
Got it.
You only pay at the booking, which is actually a good point because we are a no commission model.
Got it. So there's no service fee with you?
No service fee. You just pay
That's-
that annual fee. We take no commission. If you guys know anything about insurance bookings, we actually had one that was so close to booking. It was for a house in Pflugerville, and the family needed it for 4 months, and they were willing to pay $9,000 per month for it.
Oh.
Okay? But the owner, despite knowing how much the revenue opportunity was, turned it down because they would not accept 3 Yorkies. I tried. So that, you know, just one insurance booking or one relocation booking can recover that over and over and over again. I'm really not asking that much. In fact, I think I'm selling myself short. Yes, Joey,
How many listings are you accepting per zip code or?
about 3. It is up to me to establish and determine whether or not there's demand to add more. So for instance, like in Taylor, we have that big Samsung plant going, right? One of my friends is actually running the show on that. And you know, I think they're gonna start bringing more activity there in the next few months. And so if I only have 3 out there, but I actually need 6, I might increase that. But that's at the discretion of the business. Yes?
What neighborhoods are you seeing holes in right now within your portfolio that you would like to have additional properties in?
We have a lot in North Austin right now. We need more in Central Austin. Actually, we only have 1 in 04, 1 in 02. And then in South Austin, we have 1 in 45, 1 in 47. So I'd love one in like Oak Hill, I'd love some in, you know, Dripping Springs, Driftwood, even Marble Falls, right? When you go to the website, you can actually drop down and look at all the zip codes, and then you can see what zip codes aren't there. That's what I would love to fill. Yes?
So are these, can you just put a brand new one? I mean, you mentioned it has to already be on Airbnb for a certain amount of time, these super hosts.
So-
You have brand new ones coming on.
Yeah, I've made exceptions before. So I have one of my listings, he was brand new to Airbnb, brand new to Airbnb hospitality, but actually worked at a hotel for a large part of his career. So I made an exception for that, because I think that's, you know, it's kind of like today I had a loan officer that was taking real estate school that actually left early because we were doing real estate finance. She never got credit for her loan, 25 years in loan origination, and still had to go to the finance class. You know? I mean, I don't want to make people go through the process of earning their superhost status when they have a background in exceptional hospitality. So I mean, I'm a reasonable person. Robert?
Yeah, how far out does it usually book for midterm? Like, are we
Anytime.
talking, do you find a lot of last minute bookings?
Yes.
Yes,
Every time I end a booking, I'm at the edge of my seat,
okay.
and then the booking comes in.
But do you also see bookings coming up for a month in the summer, things like that?
Yeah, I do, and I encourage those people to come back later, unless they want to pay full price. So usually at the last minute, sometimes people might want to try and negotiate a little bit with you, but if they are the big planner and they want to make sure they have that spot, then, you know, I'll book them at full price. I'll be like, okay, I'll hold the property for you. So, yes,
People with multiple properties, is it membership per
Yes,
property, right?
per property.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if someone's listing on Airbnb and also doing your program, how do you make sure that they still hold superhost status if we're booking with you for like, let's say 8 months on a really good deal with someone from?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm still a superhost because I still get 50% of my bookings from Airbnb. Of course, I'm spread across 7 properties, actually 9 properties. So, I mean, I think you'll still be able to maintain your superhost status. I think you only need like 5 bookings a year or something like that. So, yeah. I honestly didn't even think about that, but that's a good question.
There's so many properties.
Yeah. We had a question, Rachel?
How do you recommend just like seeing how much you're comfortable paying as a midterm?
The general rule of thumb that I've been following is almost 2 times normal long-term rent. So, like the case study I gave you there, it's $2,000 per month is that neighborhood's long-term rental rate for that quality, and I priced it at $3,800, including utilities. Yes, Blake.
I wanted to add to your presentation. We've seen properties now that with short-term rentals being saturated in different areas depending on the property, some midterm rentals I feel like are making more money than they would as a short-term.
Correct.
You know?
Yep. And you get the occupancy, right? Especially like with the ice storm in Austin, and you have a property that's sitting empty and you're wondering like, oh my gosh, is it destroyed on the inside? At least when you have someone occupying the property, they can let you know if there's something going on. And you can mitigate any kind of leaks or water damages while it's happening as opposed to letting it sit and not knowing about it. So I like the occupancy. Yes?
Do you, with all the properties that you're running right now, do you have like a facilities management for all of those that's under your group?
I have, and I'll introduce the team on the slide in a little bit. I have a house manager and my husband as well. So that's my team. And we're just a little baby company right now.
Okay, but how are you? I mean, so everybody else, each of the owners has to have their own HVAC, electricity, plumber.
Right, unless I'm co-hosting for them, then yes, they would be responsible for that.
Do you see any value in getting an umbrella for all that?
We're not there yet, but I've definitely thought about it. Yeah. Any other questions? Oh, wow, yes.
So right now, it's kind of the Austin area, right?
Yes.
Is the plan to?
I'll get to that. We had a question over here.
Do you have an ideal bed bath for midterm size?
I would say my most successful for me personally has been the 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath that doesn't do as well as I thought it would. I just think that, you know, the 2-bedroom, 2-bath just meets the flexibility criteria. So that's the best performing one for me. Yes?
If there's any income opportunities for the on-rent project of the brand analysis that you showed?
The low price short-term rental?
Yes.
There's definitely those. I have a friend of mine in Philadelphia. She bought an apartment building in a rough part of Philly, and she charges $35 a night. And she also gets those kind of guests that pay $35. I mean, it's a nightmare. But she's not branded, so I didn't include that.
Got it. Do you not recommend that route?
I don't think you can even do that in Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lower price you go, the more problems you have. Yes, Ryan?
Are you accepting houses in Taylor?
I am accepting houses in Taylor. I don't have any there right now.
Well, you're about to get one.
Okay, cool. Did you scan the QR code? Okay. Because there's only 2.
Close it.
Anybody else? Okay. So this is just a postcard that you guys got a copy of. Kind of just showcases corporate rentals, better than a hotel, and just about as cheap. If we charge $170 a night, that's $5,100 a month, right? And we don't even have the hotel occupancy taxes that you have to pay at a hotel because you're doing midterm rentals. So you like take that off your list of to-dos as well. So how do you guys like this? It's a solution for investors to increase occupancy, your rental income with less work and more cash flow. And then also solutions for realtors. How many people are realtors here? Okay, how often do you get guests or clients that are building a new home and need to find somewhere to stay, or they're in transition because they originally needed a lease back, but the new buyer's not gonna get a lease back, so they need to go somewhere, and they don't wanna stay with their mother-in-law. Or you're remodeling your house, and you've ripped out the floors, the kitchen, the bathrooms, and you really can't stay there. So these are kind of the clients that I've hosted, and they're just kind of very, very diverse group of people with all different kinds of reasons for doing that. So I hear it all the time. Like I get emails from realtors saying, if I had $1 for every time I had a request for a furnished day like this, you know, I'd be rich. So the solution for realtors is you can lead your client to the website to book directly with an established Airbnb superhost. They already have a record of hospitality and trust, and we pay realtors a commission.
How much?
$200. I know it's not a lot, but you're fulfilling a request for your client and you're adding value to your service, right? Yes?
And that comes out of the Hestia brand, or does
No, that comes out of the owner's pocket. So just to recap, 4 bullet points. Hestia is a brand strategy. How are you going to differentiate yourself from the sea of midterm rentals that are going to come collapsing from the short-term rental market, right? The second is desaturation. It's important to me that you're getting value for your membership. I don't want to just take your membership fee and be like, see you later, I'm going to go eat a nice meal. I'm really committed to trying to diversify the number of properties in each of the zip codes. Again, this is a relationship business, right? Like I've been investing in real estate for the last 5 years. I run a women's real estate group of over 1,000 members. I'm on tons of Facebook groups. I work with, I go to conferences and network with people. You guys may have heard of Jesse Vasquez and maybe Ruben Kanya and Dr. Gainsbourg and all those people. I'm actually heading out there to meet with them at the end of April, right? So I've been rubbing elbows with them personally, not just at a conference, but get to know them and be on their Slack channel. Next thing is the secret sauce to running a successful midterm rental is to have an open calendar. I know this isn't really easy for a lot of people because at the end of the day you have a mortgage to pay, but when you get those insurance housing requests, and Justin, I think you know this one, right? There was a property in Leander that needed I think it was like a 5-month stay, right? And they had bookings on like 2 nights one weekend, 2 nights another weekend, and unfortunately, like my immediate response was it's not available because that, even though that investor had signed up for a midterm rental company, they weren't committed to the midterm rental model. So it's really important that you stick with that model, as gut-wrenching as it can be sometimes, but so far in the last 3 years, I usually get that booking last minute. So the marketing strategy, this is gonna be really important to the business. I spent a lot of time learning, a lot of time networking, and a lot of time podcasting. My most recent release was with Furnish Finders. They found me at the Bigger Pockets conference, and then they stalked me on LinkedIn and asked me to be on their podcast. So I was really thrilled about that, to share the Hestia brand with them. So that was released about 4 weeks ago. I'm also into several other different podcasts with the Boostly podcasts. I just recorded a couple weeks ago. That'll come out this spring, and then I'll be on the Cherry Street Investment one as well. And I think I have like 4 more planned that I haven't put here. You can follow us on TikTok. I would say TikTok is probably the most active of the 3 social medias. So you get to see house tours and see what the properties look like. And I do that with all the properties. And I just found out this news last night, which I'm really excited about. We will be expanding to Houston and Dallas. I don't have all the details yet, and I haven't figured out how I'm gonna do it, but I read a really good book recently. It's called Who, Not How. So I'm gonna leverage that. And our team, that's me with the bald head, my husband, James Keller, Chassel, who's my virtual assistant, and I actually have another virtual assistant that I just hired on 2 weeks ago, and she's actually local to Austin, and she's really, really great. And then Jessica Montalongo, she is with StellarBnBATX.com. Do not be fooled by her 5'1" stature. She's flipped a bunch of houses in Houston. She can fix drywall, she can change light fixtures. She's amazing. So whenever I get too busy, I hire her on to take care of things, especially if my husband is busy doing, flipping houses or remodeling stuff. So she's been a godsend. She is taking new clients as well. She has hired 2 new people, and I just cannot say enough good things about her. She's leveled up my properties from the B+ to an A+. And finally, I promised that I would share my story with you and why I rock the hairstyle that I have. I have alopecia universalis. This is an autoimmune disease, and every day I am grateful that I have my health, because this is a non-life-threatening disease. And this was one of the lowest moments in my life. I lost my hair in about 10 weeks. So that first picture you saw, that was a full head of hair, and within 8 weeks I lost it all. And I attribute that to many, many, many weeks of stress. Launching an iPhone, Apple's hero product during a pandemic, is not an easy feat. Whether it was flights canceling and solving for that, or warehouses canceling and solving for that, people not showing up, truck drivers disappearing, anything you can think of, and having to present this to the executive team every single day, and dashboards failing and not working. It was a tough time for me, and that's my dog Oliver, and he was a godsend for me. So I think it was triggered by stress, potentially by COVID, but I never got diagnosed with COVID, nor was I ever sick. So some people have, some people don't even know they have COVID and they have it. So, but if there's anything you take away from this presentation today, is that we're going to have things that happen to us that are out of our control. And I want you to believe that sometimes things are happening to you not because you're a victim, but because it's not happening to you, but it's happening for you. So I know deep in my heart that when I looked in the mirror and I saw that I was losing my hair, and I'd been looking for that signal to quit my job and pursue real estate full time, that signal was for me. So thank you very much for your time this evening, and have a good night.
Another round of applause really Beautiful. Anyways, that was the presentation, you guys. We have the space until 9 o'clock, and we have lots of crumble cookies. So please hang out, talk to short-term rentals, midterm rentals, all the things. Feel free to come up and ask me any questions. We have an awesome room here, awesome people. So mingle, do your thing, and yeah, thank you guys.
That was awesome.
Thank you. My camera run out of battery yet?
No, it actually charged through the whole time.
Oh, really good.
The iPad started slowly shifting throughout the whole thing because when I started to go on
Oh, you did?
Not the first, right? The second.
Oh, thanks for coming. I'm really excited to be here.
What's up?